to be jealous as she is enjoying the sun and the surf, while we here in Denver are under the shroud of fall. Here it is, folks. We're dealing with fall, and it's going to be all right. But welcome to the program. Very nice to have you along with us today. It is our job to show you that small business is big business. Your business is our business. We're going to do that a number of different ways. Wanted to address a couple of things that I'd said in the end of the last hour, and a couple of questions that had popped up because of that. And what I had mentioned was that through these ride-sharing apps, either Uber or Lyft, or there are others, I'm sure, that are out there, that it is possible to make $60,000 in a year. Now, let me give you some fundamental basis for that. I put in about 40 hours additional to what I normally do. Again, I started this whole program because I wanted to get debt free in 3 months, and so I decided to jump in and get my debt knocked out in 3 months. And you can do the math on that. It's about $13,000 that I wanted to knock out in 3 months, and that requires me to get about $1,000 a week. That is my goal. That is my experience, and that's kind of where I'm at with this program. Now, I extrapolate that out, and if I put in about 40 hours, and I can average somewhere in the neighborhood of close to $1,000, not necessarily. I mean, there's some weeks you're going to get a little less. Some weeks you might get a little more. I've done both. But if I'm doing that, if I decided I wanted to work 60 hours a week instead of 40 hours a week, you can do the math on that. It's 10 hours a day for 6 days. It's 5.5 or however many hours a day that, and not 5.5, 8.5 hours a day for 7 days, however you want to do the math on it. But if you decide you want to do that kind of a hustle, you can make $60,000. So what if my numbers are a little bit off? What if you decide, all I want to do is make $48,000? That's fine. You do the math on it. It's not complicated. And that's the thing that I love about these ride-sharing programs, is that it's not complicated. But here's the tremendous upside that I see when talking about doing a little side hustle, or maybe this is your whole deal. I mean, if you're going to put 60 hours a week, maybe you can just call that your whole deal. But if that's the case, there's a bunch of things going for it. First of all, and I mentioned this in the segment, I want to make it clear, I don't drive my own vehicle. I would never drive my own vehicle and do a ride share program. And I'll tell you why. Because you're putting a lot of miles on that vehicle. And, the wear and tear and the tires and all of it that goes to an expense that the company will cover. Yes, you have to pay for the rental if you decide to go the rental route, or if you go with Uber, there's the lease route. But I decided to go the rental route because I can turn it on and off at any time that I want to. And therein lies the brilliance of these rideshare applications and programs, that I can turn it on anytime I want, anytime I don't want. And that makes it such that it is easy to fit within my schedule. As the owner of a company, Experience Pros, is the one of the hosts of the Experience Pros radio show, I have obligations that have to be met. So I do those things, but I work around those things in these rideshare programs. And I wanted to make that very clear, that there is a tremendous amount of money. I think that in my experience with the Lyft program and organization has been phenomenal. I've loved the way that they support their drivers. I love the way that they give opportunities to gain more in less hours if you want to. There's no reason not to be successful with one of these programs. And as I look down the line of what's next for me, I've been living in an apartment for 7 years, going on 8 years. I think maybe joining the ranks of home ownership again might be something I want to do in the future. This makes it possible in a number of different ways. It's something that I just thought, as I talk to the people that I drive, there's a lot of people who have lots of big, ambitious goals and think that they can't get there from here. And I say it's never been easier. You can get there if that's something that you want to do. If you want more information about that, if you want my code for getting a bonus of up to, I think today, the bonus is $550. I've seen it go as high as $800. I can supply you with my code if that's interesting to you. This is not a sales pitch for me. It is simply an observation of how I believe you can do whatever you want to do. This also and I was fascinated by the title. Brace yourself. There's an $80 ceramic mug, a smart mug, now being sold at Starbucks. Starbucks in the news again. I'm on the record as in the last hour saying Starbucks needs to do what Starbucks does best as they move into the space of selling Italian bakeries and bread, becoming a bakery and moving into a partnership with this Italian bakery. I say stop the insanity and get back to coffee. But here's an $80 ceramic smart mug that is being sold at Starbucks. Clay Alexander has a beautiful vision of the future, says Kevin Ryan of Inc.com. It's one in which your chicken never gets cold and your beer never gets warm. His Los Angeles-based startup, Ember, is trying to disrupt the dishware industry. That's right. The company wants to radically change the way you eat and drink. Alexander, an engineer and inventor who in 2009 sold his energy-saving light bulb to General Electric, started Ember in 2012. Its newest product is an $80 ceramic mug that keeps your coffee or tea at the exact temperature that you like it. Just pair it with your phone via Bluetooth, select your preferred number of degrees, and enjoy all the hot caffeinated goodness. The mug will be sold at more than 4,600 Starbucks starting on Thursday. Now, here's my take on this. I love Starbucks. I love coffee. And I'll be fair, I love my coffee at a set temperature, and once it drops below that temperature, I dump it. I don't love lukewarm coffee. So my issue is not with Ember starting a company that starts an $80 ceramic mug. In fact, it would be a great Christmas gift for me. I'm just saying. But my issue is with Starbucks. And that they're selling tchotchkes again. They're selling bread. They're selling alcohol. And they are forgetting the very element that brought them to relevance. And that was coffee. My suggestion is, let's do coffee. Let's go back. These are the words of Howard Schultz. Let's do coffee better than anybody else. Let's be a people company serving coffee. Let's be the people who lead by example with our coffee. And when we get away from that, history has proven over and over again in Starbucks land. And when we deviate from coffee, we see phenomenal drops in market share. We see phenomenal drops in stock. I'm just saying, I think it needs to stick with it. Now, this mug that Ember's creating is a scaled back version of its first product, which is a $150 coffee mug that keeps coffee at a constant temperature. That's a hefty price, but it's sold tens of thousands of them since the product's release last year. Ember decided to do things slightly different this time. Its new mug is far less futuristic looking than the last one, which used to greet you with hello and displays your drink's temperature on the side when you tap it. We wanted to launch with our premium product. It's more sexy, he says. The idea of getting people to drop $80 to $150 to solve a minor, very first world problem might sound a little nuts, but apparently Ember's onto something. Alexander said the first mug sold out within a week of last year's Starbucks launch. He declined to give specific financial results, but you can guess that the results were significant enough that Starbucks decided, let's put it in 4,600 of our stores. Get ready for the Ember mug, the new smart mug, ceramic, $80. It looks just like a regular old mug with a little light at the bottom. We'll be back with more positive business talk right after these messages. You are listening to the Experience Pros radio show with Angel Tussey and Eric Raymer. For the archives of this broadcast and every broadcast that we do, go check out experiencepros.com. That's experiencepros.com and click on the radio tab. And we'll chat with you right after these messages.